Meat cutlets, also known in Polish as Kotlety Mielone. Welcome to this Cooking with Love channel again. Thank you for joining me. And let's cook. We will be using 1 pound of ground meat, your preference. Original recipe calls for pork, however, I like to make that with turkey. And your preference again. Next ingredient, it's a Kaiser roll that we need to soak in water or milk. Again, original recipe did call for milk, however, my mom always used with water and it came out quite delicious. I don't think you can really tell the difference. Make sure the roll soaks up the water really good. Half a shredded white onion, and I changed that recipe a little bit. Normally it calls for whole onion, but you can do it that way, or you can add 2 scallions, green onions, and just dice them on small pieces. You can also cut them with scissors. That's another tip or trick for the day, just like I did the parsley. It makes it sometimes easier for whoever doesn't like the knife action too much. And once all that cut together, we will squeeze out the water, but not completely. You want that moisture from the roll go into the meat a little bit. So just keep that in mind. And to all our ingredients now, we will add an egg. Of course, we'll bind all the ingredients together. Some recipes, they also call for garlic. I use just salt and pepper. To your liking. I don't know if maybe 2 teaspoons for some might be too much. I do like pepper in that recipe. You want to mix the egg maybe a little bit together first, and the recipe really should be made by hand, but if somebody doesn't like it, I just want to show you that it could be mixed together with kitchen utensils, so that's why I did that. The secret is to make sure that it's mixed and worked like a dough. The more you work the dough, the better the bread is. The more you work this ingredients as well, the better they will be. And they kind of need to be worked into it until they don't stick to the utensil, until they don't stick to the bowl. If things are a little bit too loose, too much moisture, yes, you can add a little bit of dry breadcrumbs. I used panko breadcrumbs here. So just mix it all together again. And I'm trying to show you that when I touch it, they really come off your hand just like the dough would. And now we're going to start making patties. They are a little bit on the oval side, and we will flatten them on each side. They'll fry quicker that way as well. And we will coat them with breadcrumbs on both sides again as well. And if you need to, you might want to kind of like reshape them to make sure that everything is still of nice oval shape. And continue until all of it is done. From that recipe, I came up with 7 patties. We like to have some leftovers anyway. If you make it with more meat, you can just adjust the ingredients a little bit. And just set them aside, ready for a next step, which will be frying. So like on the cutting board or something, it works pretty well. These were my favorite when I was growing up in Poland. The recipe has been passed on in generations. We will preheat the oil. I use grape seed oil here. You can experiment with different kind of oils in Poland. Yeah, we used lard. My grandma lived to be 92 years old. My both grandmas, they were 92 years old. If the oil is not preheated, I test this for you just so you can see it with the piece of breadcrumb. It's not really sizzling. That means it's not ready. You don't want to put them when the oil is not ready. When it boils up like this, that means we are good to go, because you don't want those cutlets just sit there and soak up the oil. You want to have some action going on in that frying pan. And try to put them that you don't burn yourself. Put them towards outside from you, and that way if the oil splashes, it will be less damaging. Yeah, the surface needs to be covered. About a 1/4 inch of an oil will do the trick. And you want to maybe check it at some point. They are not that fragile. You can check it to see if they are done for turning them around to the other side. And when they are, I normally use a couple utensils. That way it's a little bit safer, because the oil is hot at this point, as you can tell. And they are nice and browned. And the second side normally cooks quicker, so just pay attention while you're working with that. And yes, they are yummy. You can smell, the whole neighborhood will smell. Your neighbors, they will be asking, what is it that they are cooking here? When they are ready, you will probably want to set them on some paper towel on the plate to get rid of a little bit of that extra oil if it needs be. I mean, you don't have to. My mom didn't have paper towels back in the day when I was growing up, and we did fine. And continue with the second batch. You don't want to overcrowd the frying pan. Just keep that in mind. You want to make sure that you have also room to get to them for all that flipping around. But it's quite easy. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy. And they look delicious, aren't they? Next step, just in case, you want to put them in the oven for about 15 minutes on 325 in the baking dish. And that way they will stay warm while you are working on the side dish, which these potatoes, they cook in that 15 minutes exactly, and you can serve them to go with the cutlets. You will go on the link that it will be at the end of this video to get that recipe. We make things easy. And potatoes are ready to serve with our delicious cutlets. I like to add a little bit of dill on those potatoes. It just does something to it. And yes, just like love, that secret ingredient. I hope you decide to try them. They are very delicious, juicy, crispy on the outside, and the flavor, it just bursts in your mouth. So I hope you enjoy them. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.